So Nsima, I know, you come from a background of kind of counting calories and weighing stuff and things like that. Mm-hmm. But more recently, you've been doing a lot of intermittent fasting and you cut out a lot of carbohydrates, right?
Yeah. I've been going super, super, super low carb.
How are you doing that with jiu-jitsu and power? And you're still strong. I mean, I think it was just 2 months ago or so you pulled like a 725 deadlift.
Yeah, no, I think it took a little bit of getting used to, and it took a little bit of experimenting with things I could use in my fast to just make it go a little easier so I wasn't, feeling like crap. I think some of the Perfect Keto products are pretty awesome for that too, like the MCT oils in the morning. But yeah, it took some time. It took some getting used to not having anything in my stomach and not eating food during the day.
My brother really struggles with fasting. He's like, I can't fast. And I was like, well, what if you have, some MCT oil in your coffee? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I can fast then. So he can make it till like 1 or 2 o'clock each day. A lot of people really struggle with that. They get too hungry. And the Perfect Keto products, I think, are a perfect addition to anybody that's trying to mess around with fasting or trying to make some good lifestyle changes to their diet. You can try the bars. You can try the MCT oil. They also have collagen. I mean, they sell all kinds of stuff, and all the products are really super high quality. People should be checking it out. Check out Perfect Keto. What do we got, Andrew? Tell them where to find it.
Cool. So our listeners can enter and stay in ketosis today by going to perfectketo.com/powerproject and use code POWERPROJECT and get 15% off all Perfect Keto products.
You want to know something, Nsima?
Yeah, what's up?
You want to know what I hate?
What do you hate?
I hate going to the grocery store.
Well, why?
I don't like shopping, for one. And number two, there's way too much temptation in there.
Okay. So then, how are you supposed to get your groceries? What do you do?
Well, for me, I use Piedmontese beef, and there's nothing better than coming home and just seeing all that meat sitting there right at my door, right at my front door. And then I don't have to worry about trying to go to some fancy butcher and try to find high quality meat. I mean, it's not easy. For me, I live in Davis and I'd have to drive about 30 minutes to Sacramento just to go see a valuable butcher that has good quality meat.
It's pretty awesome that it's just literally right there. And it takes time to get good meats. You don't know how long it's been there. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, these are high quality meats that are tender and lean. They taste good. And Piedmontese also gives you a cooking reference guide, which I think is really important because a lot of us just aren't that good at cooking, let's face it.
Yeah, I suck.
Well, if you don't want temptations, if you don't want to, be swayed by the Snickers bar on your way out the grocery store, then check out Piedmontese beef. They'll deliver it right to your door. Andrew, where can they find out more about Piedmontese beef?
All right, guys, you can go ahead and just avoid the lame butcher because by the time you get there, he's all upset that you're making him do his job. Just head straight to Piedmontese.com. That's PIEDMONTESE.com. Enter the promo code POWERPROJECT. That'll give you 25% off your order, along with free 2-day shipping on all orders of $99 and above.
Hello.
Hi.
How we doing? We're good?
Doing good. We're real good.
Hey.
I'm sitting by myself.
I think so. You're sitting next to my Jets hat.
Not too bad.
So you never poop in this toilet here at CSA?
No, I'm poop shy. There's too many stalls.
I call it going public. I actually prefer it.
Why?
I've traded myself into it, I think. Yeah.
Do you wait for people to come in and then...
No, I'm not that weird. The airport is actually a pretty good spot to take a dump.
Well, because you showed me the hack, though. Go ahead and tell her about the special room.
Oh, yeah. The room, the mommy room, where they're changing the kids and stuff. Oh, yeah. Every once in a while, you have an angry mom, though, standing there with 2 or 3 crying babies, and you're like, whoops.
Yep. But it smells like shit, and they go in there and change
That's true. But
and you can't get away with, I'm sorry, I don't know who was in here before me, but somebody, and they're looking at you like, you're the only person in here, asshole.
Yeah. It's paradise when you see that it's open like that.
It's luxurious. You have so much space, so much room for activities. Anyway,
Tiny Tiff, you've been putting up some points on the scoreboard in powerlifting. What are some of your numbers?
I've hit 340 on my squat.
What?
155 on my bench, and then deadlift 350.
And then at what body weight were you doing some of those?
97.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And are those world records?
The 340 isn't. I did that after record breakers. But
getting close?
I mean, it probably could. do that in November.
Yeah, what's the all-time world record in the squat?
Is 314.
Oh.
It was by me.
Oh, it is by you?
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
I just hit more in training.
Oh, okay.
Like a month after. So.
And then has your record been broken since, or you still be just breaking your own record?
I would just be breaking my own record.
How'd you get into powerlifting?
Funny story. So I was playing club soccer at San Jose State, and one of the girls on my team said there was a really cute guy on the powerlifting team. And so she told me to come check it out. So, of course, I went. He wasn't that cute. But that's kind of how I got into it. And then I stopped playing soccer. And powerlifting just kind of easy to do on your own, but also cool to do with a team. But it was something that kept me competitive in a sport. So that's how I got into powerlifting. And then from there, I started doing personal training. So.
Powerlifting team in college? What was that? I mean, what is that? What does that entail? I haven't really heard of that until more recently, maybe the last 3 or 4 years or so.
Yeah, so we kind of just met up on Saturdays and like everyone was there and kind of lifted. We had a coach, but he was a great guy. There wasn't a lot of programming. It was just kind of like, okay, you're coming in, you're going to squat, bench, and deadlift. There wasn't a lot of like technique work just because there's like 15 of us in there. But they need enough people to be considered a team and get funding. So that's part of the reason why I joined. And then like a month later, the coach was like, hey, if you want to stay on the team, you have to compete because we can't just hold you a spot. But there weren't that many people. So really, I probably could have not competed. But it was fun. I probably did like 5 meets that year just because he was paying for it. So I kind of got paid to do it. He was paying for our food and like paying for the travel and everything. He took probably like 10 of us, whoever wanted to go compete, and we went down to LA. We did collegiate nationals in Texas. So that was all within like a year of me powerlifting. I had no clue what I was doing. There weren't very many girls. There were probably like 5 girls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the first meet I did, I didn't have a belt. I had to order a singlet. I didn't know how to weigh in. I didn't know anything. So it was kind of cool to start when it wasn't so big and like there was no pressure on like how much you could lift.
Were you close to the same weight that you are now?
Yeah, I just put on a lot more muscle.
Okay.
And I eat a little better. But yeah, I've been 97, 105 kind of since then. Yeah.
How was some of that from a social aspect? Was it good for you? Like, did you maybe start to interact with more people, or were you always were you outgoing? Or
I would say powerlifting actually really helped me with being more social. Not that I wasn't before, but I just got a lot more confidence and just really didn't care what people thought anymore. So, a lot of my friends are now from the gym. Like, I don't really talk to a lot of people that I was before, I guess, just because the mindset's different. I just kind of cared more about my body and getting stronger and just being better and helping people than I did about going out and drinking.
do you worry about your like body weight? Do you worry about your like looks and appearance a lot, or is it more about like the weights that you're moving? Like, how do you kind of balance some of that?
It's been kind of a struggle back and forth. I feel like girls, it's harder with the body image and everything. So when I first started, I kind of was trying to stay under 97 so I didn't have to cut a lot. And Jesse would just always tell me to eat more. And I was like, I can't gain weight, Jesse. But really it's because I wasn't eating a lot. I thought I was eating a lot, but once I kind of started seeing my strength get better when I was eating more, I kind of just had to trust that that's what I had to do. But it is a struggle every once in a while. When I do gain more weight, I'm just kind of like, I feel like I look disgusting. But a lot of the guys at the gym are just like, you look fine. Like, you just, like, your legs are bigger, which means you're squatting more. And sometimes it helps with the weights. Sometimes I just feel mentally, like, fat, which, I mean, I'm 110 pounds sometimes. And I'm like, I feel fat, which everybody else is like, well, that's nothing. But it sometimes does affect my lifting when I think that I'm bigger than I should be. But yeah, I struggle back and forth with it. I don't know, but when I see my numbers go up, that's when I kind of go back to like, okay, there's a reason why I'm gaining weight right now, and I know I can lose it by the time like meets are coming up. So
what do you tell girls that are kind of going through that same scenario where they might be chasing a certain way, but then they're looking in the mirror like, ugh, like I'm not really liking what I'm seeing?
Like a lot of my clients are like that. I mean, they're obviously not powerlifting, but they're also trying to get stronger. I tell them like, you have what is your main goal, I guess? Like, are you trying to get stronger, or are you trying to get leaner? Because a lot of times it's hard to do both, right? So I try to get them to look at the big picture, and like, you have 1 or 2 bad days and you can look a lot fatter than you really are. So I tell them if they fall off, like, give it a few days and like just start eating a little better and see, like, your weight doesn't come on in one day. Like, you're not going to keep all that weight on. So
sometimes it's important to have a certain goal in mind and to kind of go for it. So like if you are feeling chubby, or you feel like you gained a little bit of weight, if you have a competition coming up, you probably shouldn't change too many things. Now's not the time to start to try to make yourself skinnier going into a powerlifting.
I got 6 weeks.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do that, and so you just want to try to have a goal, and then you can set the goal, and then once you obtain the goal, then you can switch things up. And I think that people sometimes are trying to think of how they can make a change, like, right now, and it's like, well, don't chase after 2 things at one time,
Yeah, so I think I've been working with Stan with the vertical diet, and so I did that going up to my last meet, and then I took like a week or 2 off. I was still in Costa Rica, so I kind of enjoyed myself there and came back for a week and kind of wasn't sticking to everything, but getting back into it, knowing that I have a meet in a few weeks, like, just going back on that, I've already started to lose weight. Like, I know that if I stick to eating as much as I should, my weight's going to come off like it was before. You just have to trust it, which sometimes is hard. Like, feel like you eat more, you're going to gain weight, but trusting it, like, I've lost more weight eating more than not.
Before the vertical diet, what were you doing?
I was eating a lot.
Yeah, Tiff, what were you doing?
Well, I train at this gym with Jeremy, who goes to the gas station he needs, and then there's Jesse, who he was kind of recovering from the surgery, and before that, like, everybody here is just eating, like, donuts and burgers and Chick-fil-A. The Chick-fil-A is down the street, In-N-Out's right next to it. Ice cream. I was having a lot of ice cream. So, I mean, that's kind of what I was doing before, and it wasn't not working. It was working for what it should do. I gained a lot of weight on it. Yeah. But, yeah, that's what I was doing before. I wasn't really tracking a lot. I just ate a lot.
Are you tracking now with the vertical diet, like tracking your macros and stuff?
Mostly the protein, making sure I get enough protein, and then the fat a little bit, but everything else is just, when it gets when I was getting closer to the meet, so that I knew how much I had to cut back and not sacrifice like strength and eating. So I think the last meet I did when I was on the vertical diet was the first meet I kind of trusted myself to eat the day before weigh-ins, and like I had 3 meals before like that night, and I felt great, and I didn't have to do a bath, or I didn't have to do water cut or anything, so that was really nice to be able to like trust it. And I weighed in a little light, so I could have ate more, but yeah.
Do you do pretty big weight cuts?
Last year for record breakers, I think I did like a 12-pound weight cut.
And that's a lot in your frame. That's a ton. Yeah.
So I say that, and like Jeremy had to cut like 25 pounds, and basically it was like the same body percentage.
Yeah, right.
But you tell people like 10 pounds, and people in powerlifting are like, oh, 10 pounds, that's fine. I'm like, well, that's like the equivalent of a bigger guy cutting like 25 pounds. So that was, it was kind of terrible. But I think this year going into it, I'll be lighter, so it won't be as terrible.
Tell us about fat shaming.
Fat shaming? I like fat shaming. Like, I think it's fun. Everybody else hates it.
What's fat shaming, and who made it up?
I think Jesse made it up, and it's like literally just moving any faster than you normally would. I like to do box jumps and run sleds. Most people will.
That's like your form of cardio here at CSA.
Yeah,
fat
so
shaming.
fat shaming. Most of the guys here will like probably pull a sled and sweat, and then be like, "Oh, I'm sweaty. I'm done. But a lot of people sometimes don't do it. I try to get everyone to do it, and everyone hates me. So,
is there like other than like working towards being less fat? Is there any other reason for the fat shaming? You think?
I think getting people moving more, just especially after the workout, like just mobility, moving, because a lot of us, I think we don't move a lot. Like powerlifters just
recovery.
don't. Yeah, getting the blood flowing back in there. Yeah, most of us don't move a lot after we work out. We're like, okay, max one, we're done. We're gonna go home and eat. So I think it keeps us in the gym a little more, like, and it helps with just feeling better. I don't know.
Do you ever feel like moving more because of your background in soccer? Like, does it kind of feel just like being at home, or still out of your comfort zone doing that stuff?
No, I love doing it. Like, I feel at home. I like doing the sprints. I get in trouble. And then Jeremy always pulls a hamstring, so I get in more trouble. But I love doing all of it. And it's more fun when people do it and you get to like race against people. You do more weight than people. So I've gotten a time where we've gotten like 6 people out there and we're sprinting and then someone gets hurt.
Yeah.
And then I get in trouble.
How long have you been training here for?
I think 4 years. I can't really remember. But me and Jeremy actually just figured out that we both came in at the same time. And we both thought that we both were here longer than, like, I thought he was been here, like, way before I was. And he literally probably came in a week before I did. And so it's weird how timing works. I've lived in this area all my life. But I never knew Jesse was here until I knew Tony Montgomery from, like, a meet. And I saw him here with Jesse, and I'm like, I should probably check this out. This is, like, 5 minutes from my house. So, yeah. I think 4 years. Time flies when you're having fun.
Did your coach, Jesse Burdick, ever make you take a lap?
Many laps.
I've seen him do it to Jeremy a bunch of times because Jeremy missed like a bench. He's like, take a lap, and he makes him like run around the building.
So he tells me not to take laps because I move too much. So he takes laps away from me. But I haven't done that in a while.
Is that like something he uses to calm you guys down or something?
No, it's more like you did something stupid. Go take a lap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
And Nsima's never made a mistake, so he's like, what does this mean?
Oh, come on,
I don't
man.
understand this.
No, like, okay,
He's perfect.
Isn't he, though? Look at
Well,
him.
we saw him doing that exercise over there, and that was the first time he's done it, and you look perfect doing it.
The hip thrust, right?
No, Jesse showed me a lot of stuff that I was doing wrong.
But why was the hip thrust station the first thing you went to, though?
Because my glutes were not firing well. I was sitting all day in the car.
Activating thrusting, huh?
So you don't know how to thrust your hips?
No.
Is what you're saying.
I'm horrible at that.
Oh.
Absolutely horrible at that.
Are you single?
I'm absolutely horrible at that.
Wait, are you single?
Is this another podcast?
Yeah. At least I don't think he's single. You're still.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. It's been a rough night. Tiff, check it out. Your Instagram. You train at more places than just this location. Where else are you getting into your workout?
I started working at Google in San Francisco as a personal trainer. So I'm out there Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. So I try to get in my workouts when I can out there because I'm out there I start at 6:30, I end at 6. So if I can squeeze in time in there, I try to get whatever I can. I've talked to Jesse about kind of what I should prioritize. So if I have 30 minutes, I try to get my dynamic bench in and then accessory work between clients. But yeah, so I'm out there 3 days a week. So. And then I also have a home gym that I built. I train my clients out of there. So when I have time, I like to train in there if I can't get into CSA.
What the heck are you doing at Google?
I do personal training. So
okay, cool.
It's been really fun.
Do you just tell them to go into the sleep pods?
No, I should. Honestly, I have clients that I like make just walk because they just sit all day and then they have food access like every floor. Cafe, everything's free, so they just eat and sit all day. So a lot of the work I do with them is mobility, just getting them to move and like want to be at the gym. I think the coolest thing is when they come back and tell me, hey, I did this yesterday, like when I didn't see you, when they went from literally not doing anything before I started training them, and they're doing things on their own. They're getting their like parents involved, they're getting their like boyfriends or girlfriends involved. So I train people here. I train like a lot of moms around here, but I like working with all the different clienteles because it's so different. I get to learn different things, and even just talking to them, they have different mindsets. You get some that are really driven, and they do whatever you tell them to do. Like, tell them tracking everything, tell me your weight every day, and I'll get text messages every day with what they're weighing, what they're eating.
And how did you get involved with Google like that?
There was a guy that actually worked out here. He was interning with Jesse. His name is, we call him Sid. He's summer intern Dave. His name is Dave. But he started working at Google before me, and then he asked me if I wanted to work there. The first time he asked me was down in Mountain View, and I didn't want to commute, so I gave up that. And I was like, hopefully that comes back around, because working at Google, like, who doesn't want that experience, right? But at that time, it just didn't work out, and he came back around in April and was like, they need female trainers at Google in San Francisco. And that commute was a lot better. I could take BART down there. So that's how I got in. I actually knew the guy hiring too. So that was kind of cool how it's such a small world. I worked with him maybe a year ago. And so it's cool that we have like 4 guys that used to work out at CSA that all work there now. And I had a few clients ask me, hey, do you guys do the same programming? We're like, well, we have the same guy that like taught us a lot of the stuff we know. So for the most part, you're going to see the main movement, but it's obviously programmed towards what your weaknesses are and stuff like that. So that's how I get started there.
Do you use squat, bench, and deadlift with your clients?
Every single workout. Yeah. I mean, we do squat or bench, squat or deadlift, and then bench or overhead press, and then accessory work.
Why do you think more women shouldn't be scared to try some powerlifting?
Because it's not going to make you bulky. It's going to make you strong. Every single girl that I've had, or female, had lifting, squat, bench, deadlift, all that, like, they all just feel better about themselves. Like, their confidence just starts going through the roof, and you can tell that they're excited to be strong, and they want to be in the gym, which every single one that I had start, they're like, I don't know what to do here. I'm intimidated by everything. I think the first thing I tell them is half the people in here don't know what they're doing either. Like, that's kind of the truth. Like, and sometimes people that do know what they're doing it wrong. So when you go in there, like, you're probably doing it better than the people that are in the gym. I do a women's strength class here. I have about like 10 to 12 girls on any given night. They go to the gym and they'll come back, and they go to 24 to do their like homework that I give them. They'll come back and tell me, I watched this guy do squats and I can squat more than him, and he's not even squatting all the way. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm like, that's so cool that you guys like can tell. Like, I feel comfortable with most of the girls in that class, like, teaching someone else how to do it, because I've taught them from the ground up, and they've helped girls at the gym. So it's cool to see them start to share the knowledge and be excited about telling me all that. So.
Did you realize, like, when was it that you realized that you, I guess, had world-class strength? Was it early in the strength career or later on?
Honestly, some days I don't even like think about that. I'm just like, I feel like I come in and I just train. Like, that's not really what's in the back of my mind, I guess. I don't know if that's weird or not, but...
Was there a point, though, where you looked at like a record, or Jesse Burdick maybe mentioned a record to you and you were like, maybe I could do that?
So the first time I broke a world record, that was kind of like, I was training here. It was probably my first few months here. And I was training with Zach Trahan. And I texted him, I screenshotted the world record for the squat, and I'm like, hey, do you think I could squat 270? And he's like, why? I'm like, well, it's kind of the all-time world record, and I think I could get there. And that was kind of the start of it. So probably like 4 years ago was when I started to kind of look at it. I don't think I looked at it before. But I come into training and I don't really think about those. I just think about getting better and what I can do to be stronger. So
why do you think you were gifted something like that? Obviously you worked really hard for it as well, but that's pretty rare for somebody 3 or 4 years into something and only a few weeks or months into it here with a good coach. Like, why you? Why do you think you possess that ability? Any idea? You ever thought about it?
I've never thought about it. I don't know.
Is there something in the gene pool? Like, is mama strong or something like that? Your dad's strong or something like that?
No, I just, I try to get my mom to work out, and she will not work out.
Do you think maybe it's some of the, years of soccer and,
I think soccer's helped a lot.
Your mindset, maybe some things like that have kind of contributed to some of this? Yeah,
so I think soccer helped a lot. My leg strength is obviously a lot better. I wish that I did gymnastics or swimming. That when I have kids, they're doing one of those.
Yeah.
I feel like lower body strength is a lot easier to get, especially for females. So my kids are doing swimming and gymnastics. But I think my mindset is coming here. I think my mindset has totally changed, and I think that's what's helped me keep going towards records and keep getting stronger. Just being around Jesse, I don't know, you know him. There's so much to learn from him, and seeing how he works and seeing how he, not even just in the gym, his life, with his daughters and with Katie, it makes me want to be a better person. I'm gonna cry now. This is weird. It just makes me want to be.
You said it was going to be awkward.
I'm crying talking about Jesse. I think he just made me such a better person and want to get better every day.
Right. That makes sense. It's okay to cry. It's all right. Jesse is a unique coach. I mean, he's going to be right on top of you. How involved is he? I know you've been training for a while, so you're probably helping coach some other people and stuff. And you got, Jeremy, and you got a lot of strong men and women here now. So maybe he doesn't have to be right on top of everyone all the time. But as a team, you guys probably all try to help each other out, right?
Yeah, it really does feel like a family here. I know I can go to Sean or Kyle or Jeremy, Joanne about watching my videos and critiquing it. And even outside the gym, me and Jeremy, we went to a movie last night. We watched Rambo last night.
Any good? A lot of destruction.
There's a lot of good ways I saw on how to kill people. So I just gotta get some knives and some throwing practice. But I don't remember the question now.
You all just hang out together quite a bit, even outside the gym.
Yeah, and Jesse being on top of everybody. I feel for me, I'll ask him when I know when I need him to spot me, when I need him to watch me. I record my set so I can show him if he's not watching, but most of the time he's kind of out of the corner of his eye watching. He'll tell me if something looks weird or I'm off, which is all the time. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. But so he's not on top of me as much as I feel some coaches might be, which I like because it keeps me more accountable with knowing how my body works and how my body, what weights to jump. I kind of check in with him before the workout. I write down what my attempts are going to be, and then he just looks at it, and if it looks weird, he'll adjust it. But usually, he won't say this, we usually have the same numbers in mind. But yeah.
I'm curious about this because, okay, you're at the top of your weight class, and a lot of athletes, even if they're not, they sometimes have other athletes that they're competing with. They're ooh, that person's catching up, or I'm catching up to them.
Yeah.
You breaking your own records, how do you continue to push yourself to just continue to break records? Because no one's breaking your records, right?
Yeah. I kind of look at, especially here, there's no one training in my weight class. So I kind of just look at the girls that are around, and I try to hit what they're hitting or close to what they're hitting. And even if they're 30, 40 pounds heavier than me, that's kind of what I'm striving for, because that's what I have to compete against here. And then being able to train with them because I can hit the same amount of weight with them. I think that's the coolest part for me. Yeah.
Is Jesse's voice kind of creep into your head?
All the time.
All day, even when you're not in the gym?
Yes, all the time. When I do something stupid, Jesse would just shake his head. Even just his shaking his head at me, which is most of the time when I'm here. I can picture that every time I do something stupid. But the scariest part is when I'm training people, I start to sound like Jesse. they start to like do things that Jesse does here, and like,
oh shit, you hit people? He always hits people.
No,
oh, okay.
I don't do that. But like,
he always pokes at people, like hits them. He's like, he's like jarring you.
I do that sometimes, but
it does make you kind of wake up, you know, whatever muscle you're trying to work. You're like, oh yeah, that's right.
It's scary how much like I've talked to Jeremy about it and how he trains people. He's like, yeah, I just start saying things that Jesse says, and I'm like, oh shit, like what just happened?
Happening to all of us.
It just starts happening, and I don't know how to stop it.
How does he coach you? Is he negative or is he positive? Does he make fun of you? Like each person needs different shit, right?
Yeah, he makes fun of me a lot, but when it comes down to like when I'm lifting, I don't know how to get angry, and so he's tried that before and it doesn't work. I just like cry, and so I think he's kind of gotten to a point where it's like, okay, Tiff, like you can do this, like let's go, and then it's kind of quiet from there.
Yeah, Jeremy is like that too. He's got a big old smile on his face every time he's lifting.
I think it's because of what Jesse's created here. Like,
the environment.
Like, the environment, like, I don't have a lot to be angry about. Like, I feel like maybe I'd be better and, like, a little more focused sometimes if I did have any, like, tragic thing happen to me. But, like, I've had a pretty good life. Like, I live here. And I have a great job. I have great friends. I have great family. Like, I don't have a lot to be angry about.
You get to come in and play powerlifter, right?
Yeah. I like try to get angry. I just cry if I do. So I don't know.
Now I'm really curious about this because this like a lot
I'm
of
just weird.
That's awesome
a
though.
little bit.
So then when you're doing something really heavy, or when you think back to your world record lifts, right? What goes through your head? Because a lot of powerlifters have to get angry. In those moments, were you angry or were you just focused?
It was more focused. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel when you've competed. Like, everything's kind of a blur to me. I don't really see anything when I'm out there. And when I do, that's when I'm screwed, because that's when I'm thinking, and when I think, nothing's ever good. And Jesse tells me not to think all the time. But yeah, when I train, I try to like think about the lifts that I've made. Before I would like kind of think about all the like when I was kind of in a little funk, I would think about like, oh, I couldn't do this last time. Like, can I do it now? And I think mindset's such a big thing. So I just had to start thinking about like when I've hit it, how much I've done in training, and that's been what's helped me get past like PRs and stuff like that. So yeah.
How do you deal with like being happy with what you got? You mentioned like getting into a little bit of a funk.
Ooh.
I think we all have a tendency to kind of look at other people and what they're doing and think that that's somehow better, or we have a tendency to worry about what other people think of us and things like that. How do you kind of feel good about, like, you set world records, and now like if you're not at a world record status, you know, you hold yourself to that standard, or you bend lighter body weights and different things like that? How do you hold it all together?
I think about everything that goes into it. Like, I used to not think about sleep and recovery a lot, but since I started working at Google and since I've gotten a lot more clientele, like, my recovery isn't as good as it was before, like when I wasn't working so much. Like, I could sleep, I could eat. Like, I come in here and I'd hang out here like for 5 hours. So I had a lot more free time, a lot more time to like not do anything and let my body be like relaxed when I was hitting like more PRs more frequently. But now I'm like, well, I'm working more, I'm hitting like life PRs. Like, I think that's cooler than, like, nothing against powerlifting and hitting PRs here, but like, I think that's kind of cooler. Like, I don't make very much money doing powerlifting. Like, if anything, I spend way more money on powerlifting and like all the food. So I kind of put it into perspective, like, this isn't my job, this is like fun. And once I was thinking about it as a job, that's when I got in that funk. Like, I was like, okay, I need to hit these numbers. Like, I have nothing else. Like, so I think looking at, like, putting it into perspective of what the priorities are, like, it's definitely like one of my top priorities, but I have so much more going on in my life now that, like, I don't know, it's cool to go out and like hit records, but also like making money and like having a career. So
Powerlifting is just what you do. It's not who you are.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember that sometimes.
And I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people that try to make it who they are, I mean, that's cool, but I don't know how much you're going to make from that. And then my body stops working, like, what am I going to do? Like, I can't lift weights. Like, I have a lot more going for me than just that.
So, like, now that you're working at Google, and how long have you been doing that, by the way?
I started in April. Yeah.
Okay, so before that happened, like, you were focusing on powerlifting, but now that you're doing that, like, where do you see yourself heading? What do you want to end up continue, like, doing? Do you want to continue going down the training route? Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah, so a year ago, if you asked me that, I would have told you I have no clue what I want to do. But it's really hard because I love training people, and I know a lot of people do like online training to get more clientele, you can make more money, but I like the one-on-one, like I like the connections I have with my clients, like knowing that I could actually call them on the weekend and be like, hey, do you want to hang out? Or like, hey, I'm in trouble, like I got in a car accident last month, and I had to cancel on a few clients, and they're like, do you need me to come out there and like pick you up? Like, I think that's the coolest thing. So it's kind of hard for me to really figure out what I want to do, but I want to stay on this path of like training people. I just went to like a summit at Exos, and it's like human performance and all this stuff. And seeing the people there and how passionate they are about like human movement, I think that's something that I want to get more into, is like more of the like nitty gritty of how people move and how to move them better. I think with what I'm doing right now is like just getting them moving is the hard part, but starting to like break down why things are breaking down in their body, I think that's kind of the next path I want to start to get more into, breaking things down more. I don't know.
Well, and you have a good coach to ask questions to, because there's nobody nerdier than Jesse. Have you ever like read a book or an article or heard anything about strength training and then gone to Jesse about it and he hasn't heard of it before?
No, he looks at me like I'm stupid. I'm like, hey, I read this book. Like, I just got this book. He goes, yeah. I'm like,
it's like I read it 5 years ago. Yeah, great.
I think when I started getting body work done, the guy told me about this book, and so I got it, and like shows you all the trigger points and like, oh, this controls this and all this stuff. I'm like, Jesse, I got this book. Like, look at these trigger points. He goes, okay. I'm like, and then I'm like, okay, I just feel really stupid now. But
it's probably something he told you about like 3 years ago too.
That's probably why he hates
that you didn't listen to, right?
Yes, 100%. But yeah, everything that I've kind of come to him, he has an answer to, and he knows. So it's really cool that he has answers, and then just the network that he has, and like you guys have, like being able to like, I got to go to Coach House's seminar in, I don't remember when, earlier this year. So that was really cool, like having that connection and being able to talk to him. I've talked to him a few times through Instagram, and social media has been really awesome in that sense. Like, I've been connected with a lot of people that I could ask questions to about that stuff. If like Jesse's busy all the time, and I feel like I bug him half the time, so I can ask other people too, and like they'll respond. Like, it's cool to have so much knowledge in social media that I can trust, because I know people that know them, not just because they have 200,000 followers and like they post things every day. Like, I don't trust half those people.
When's your next meet coming up, by the way?
I'm doing Slingshot Record Breakers.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so we'll see what I can do for my squat.
Are you heading for some records there? I think so.
Squat and total. So we'll see. Me and Jesse have kind of talked about staying at 97 or going up a weight class after this. So if this is going to be my last at 97, probably go really heavy on the squat. We'll see. But yeah.
How crazy is it? You're chasing your own records, but you're training around Jeremy Avila. Like, do you guys go back and forth on anything, or is it like a brother-sister type of vibe, or is it you guys just mainly encouraging each other?
It's more like a brother-sister vibe. Yeah, he's kind of moody when he trains. I feel like, hope he doesn't get mad at me. But yeah, kind of up and down sometimes. So I feel like we don't lift the same. I guess our training isn't the same mentality, especially because he lifts so much heavier than I do. Like, it's so much more taxing on him to do like his heavy stuff. And with work and everything, like our schedules have been like he'll get here an hour earlier than me, or I'll get here an hour later or earlier, and so we kind of catch each other. Most of the time we catch each other when we're going for those maxes, and we cheer each other on. It's really cool to have him. Like, he's like the best cheerleader, so when he sucks, when he's having a bad day, he's a great cheerleader.
Yeah. Well, I also imagine, because you're really focused, and Jeremy will walk up to the bar and be like, oh, I just hit a PR and I accidentally forgot to wear a belt.
Yeah, I hate it, because like he'll hit a PR and you're just like, so you don't need to warm up? Like, what? I don't understand. Like, you just got here like 10 minutes ago and you're just jumping in with everybody else. So I wish I could train like him. Like, I take 20 minutes to warm up and everyone's like, can you hurry up? Like, we're trying to work out together. I'm like, well, I just don't want to get hurt again. Like, I take that extra time to warm up and stuff. But I'm jealous of the way he can train, because he can walk up and just hit PRs. I'm like, it took me a year to get all of this, and I just hit a 5-pound PR.
You guys have had a lot of people hit world records in this gym, and you guys use some training that's a little unconventional compared to what a lot of other people consider to work well for raw training. You guys use the Conjugate, the West Side barbell system. Talk about that a little bit. What's that mean?
Bands, chains, max effort, dynamic effort. I love it. So before I started training this way, I was doing what everyone else does. Like, I would squat, bench, and deadlift every day. And I'd just try to max out all the time. But it's really helped, like, the bands, I think, have helped my squat a lot. Deadlifts, I don't know, it just lets me like try to hit PRs on those max effort days, but it's just different because it's bands and chains, and it kind of makes you feel good because you could hit a PR every week.
And you don't know what it is, really.
Yeah, so Jesse changes it every 2 weeks because that's how it is. But I like it too, because if I hate that movement, the accessory movement, I know it's going to be over in 2 weeks. Like, and then it won't come back for a few more months. So I like how it changes all the time and works on different weaknesses that, like, you didn't know. Like, my least favorite is like a one board press, and we do a lot of conventional and then sumo deadlift pulls. So going back and forth, like, I used to hate conventional deadlifts, and now, like, I want to do them more than sumo. It's really weird, and I pull better off a deficit, so I don't know. I like all the different stuff because it definitely helps with different weaknesses, and I feel stronger some days, I feel weak some days, and I'm like, it's because what we're doing, that's why I'm weak today. Like, it's not because I didn't sleep enough.
Do you thrive off of like variation in training? Do you enjoy that more than if you were doing a lot of the same stuff for weeks on end?
Yeah, I think for me, like I was telling you, I like doing all that, like, cardio, all that running shit. I like doing different things all the time because if I get stuck in one spot, I just, like, I get bored. I don't know, I feel like maybe a lot of powerlifters do like the everyday, like, the grind of the same thing over and over again because you know what you're doing, but I like all the different stuff because if he doesn't program it, I'm going to do it on my own and I'm going to get in trouble. So at least half of it's his program. Yeah.
Cool. Where can people find you?
I'm at CSA Gym, and then on Instagram, Tiny Tiff 97. That's all I got.
So,
And you'll be at Slingshot Record Breakers.
I will be at Slingshot Record Breakers on Sunday.
before we head out, you're a world record holder. Do you hold any world record poop stories?
I don't have any. Girls don't poop.
Smokey's looking at you.
Girls don't poop.
I think that actually might be true.
It's true. Girls don't poop.
But
And I don't poop here. I don't poop in public. I don't poop.
She holds it in.
So
She's full of
day,
shit.
Where does it come out then? What do you mean?
One day when I have a poop, I'll have a really big story, I guess. And I will let you guys know.
It's gonna be really compacted in there.
I hope
poop out a diamond.
I might fill up this building.
I hope it happens on Slingshot Record Breakers. That'll be a record-breaking poop.
Yeah, we'll stream it live.
Perfect.
It's a different stream.
Strength is never a weakness. Weakness never a strength. Catch y'all later.